So Skool Tiers just dropped, and I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed. It's not what I thought it was going to be, not after all of the hype of building it up for so long and then delaying it and delaying it. And here we are with Tiers, and there's a few features that really are missing, and they're quite big features. They're quite key to how you're going to use it, and it's actually making it probably unusable for many people out there. And I don't know whether that's by design or something they intend to improve on later on in future, but they are kind of key features. So I'm going to get into the key features that you've got now that you can potentially use, what they don't have and what that means for some people and how you're not going to be able to use it. And for those that are disappointed with these lacking or missing features, then I'm maybe going to talk about some workarounds that you could potentially use towards the end of the video to still be able to use Tiers, but potentially in a more sort of flexible way of doing things. Because I think for myself, I might not be able to use it. I'm sort of flicking a coin up in the air at the moment to decide, I've got to lose some things, or I've got to, you've just got to compromise, basically. There's no one size fits all, which is a shame because Alex Hormozi basically said that when Tiers came along, you'd be able to do every model in his book. And even when he posted now, he said just about every model. And I think that's the key thing. It's definitely going to be more geared up to those that obviously are doing continuity models, but potentially more in the low, maybe even to mid-ticket range, but not really high ticket. I think for high ticket, we've been a bit screwed over. So let's get into it. So basically, with the likes of Tiers, you've got three different options. So if you've got Tiers here, as you can see on the screen, you've got three different options, and that's for 2 to 3 paid tiers. So you could have 2 to 3 paid tiers, and that would be paid on the front end, the same as a subscription, and then you would add one more tiered level or 2 more tiered levels. And that means that you could have 3 paid. And what this would do, if you had it set up, let's say, if you could, you select it here, and then you add the different benefits, and then you can turn VIP on and off. So you can have either 2 paid tiers, and this would be the front end, and then this would be the low one. But when you see this, it basically will show it on the front end of your community. And people can then decide which one they're going to sign up to at the beginning, or they can then upgrade later on. And it will essentially just show on the sign up page, the about page, when they click join, these 3 or 2 options for them to choose from. Or you've got freemium. And freemium is the one that everybody's getting really excited about because it is still free on the front end. And this is the model that I think most people who are going to use Tiers are going to use it, because you get the benefit of a free community and using it as a lead magnet and getting people to come in. And then you have an ability to sell not just one-time courses inside, but you can also now sell the premium upgrade for your tiered subscription, and then add a VIP option that you can turn on and off. So let's say you've got free, $1,000 a year or $100 a month or $50 a month or whatever you're going to do. And then you've got the 3 options here. Now, the difference is for this one that it will show free on the front end, and it will not show these options for signing up. These will be upgradable inside. So if people then want to get access to certain programs or onto certain group calls and so on, they will click it and it will give them the option and show it just like the tiered option. It will then show these 3 windows or 2 windows for them to be able to upgrade to. So the idea is that they still come in for free, and then you have lots of different things that they can't get access to unless they pay to upgrade. So it kind of, the idea of your free community is that it's trying to push people continuously towards your paid subscription models. And then you can also obviously have one time, which is not necessarily something I recommend. I would generally stick to a subscription model on annual versus one time. But some people prefer one time, they love it. So this is obviously an option for those that just want people to have a one-time thing, because it probably sells a little bit better than annual. But I would personally do annual so that you're not massively tied in. So those are tiers in a nutshell. And that's how it generally will be set up. And it's just really for those that want to add additional levels to their community. So let's break down the issues that I have with it. So the reason I say, tiers are just fine is that there's certain key things that are potentially missing. So when we first go into the freemium part here, you can turn on and off the VIP option. So I can turn this on and off here. And the benefit of this VIP part is that I can sell it a lot like I was selling a cohort or a limited number of them, and I can then turn it on and off, and they will still have access according to support. I've asked support so many questions. According to the support in Skool, they will still have access to all of the benefits. They will not lose it. Whereas if I turn premium off after selling it in the same way, they will lose access. So they will no longer have access to the benefits of premium if I turn it off. So you have to keep premium on all the time. So that means that this is only for evergreen selling, really. And the issue is, if I want to go straight from paid to a cohort, let's say, and I want to be turning it on and off, I want to have a limited number, I want to drive scarcity, which is what you often do as someone selling high ticket. If you're selling high ticket coaching, you normally have limited spots and availability. You don't want to take absolutely everyone. You may not want them to even see the price necessarily, because that might change and fluctuate. So you want to be able to drive scarcity in terms of numbers and availability. So it's the best way to keep things exclusive and keep people wanting it. But I can't jump from free to VIP. I have to have premium on. There's no way to turn it off according to support. So, okay, well, that means I have to have, it's all or nothing. I have to have 3 tiers if I want to run cohorts. So now I have to come up with some type of premium option in between. And this may not be the way that you want to run things. And I'll get to a workaround for that in a moment, but that's my first frustration, is that really it's just not geared up to turning that on and off. And when you're turning this on as well inside for the different levels, and you're selecting, let's say, a course or the level, you could say, okay, people will have access to something on a particular tier. Now, you can only select one level and so on for people to have access to. So people that would have access to this course or whatever, we could say that it's people on a certain tier. And if that was a standard tier, you could tick it. But this is where the problem comes in. If it's on the normal tiered level, then apparently according to support, I know premium would automatically be passed on to VIP. So if you have a premium account, if someone buys VIP, is automatically they're given everything that's in premium. And that's great if your premium is just, say, a bump up. I mean, your VIP is just a bump up from premium. But if your VIP is something completely different, then now you're giving them access to something that you might not have wanted to. So the idea is that this is just more levels. So this is just level 1, level 2, level 3 for one product. But you couldn't really separate necessarily on different products because they're going to get the same access. So that works in both ways. But that is good if you wanted people to say premium was going to be, and this is potentially how one of the workarounds I would do for this, is that if you did free, maybe they get a mini training, and then for this one, they then get access to the full training, and then group calls. And then for this one, they get one-to-one coaching added, but they then still get access to all of that. Then that would make sense. But you said I've only got limited access for the VIP, or this is a more exclusive circle and you meet a couple more times a week and it's just a bit more VIP, it's maybe more of a mastermind, something along those lines. So as long as it's just in addition to your premium account, it's fine. So the question is, does all the levels in standard might be the same as well? So if you select one tier, and levels are obviously different. Levels are something that people can unlock for free. But if you can only select one tier here, then there's no way to divide those. So everything is either unlocked by default in different things. So if I have standard and then premium, people get everything in standard inside the premium. So everything's been unlocked there. So that's my first issue. That's a bit of a difficult one. There's no flexibility in the way that that's done. And then the same goes for the course. You can only select one as well. So with the courses and the calls, I think this was the calls I was talking about, it was the same. There wasn't a huge amount of flexibility in it. It was only sort of a very linear way of unlocking things. And then the core issue that I have, and that many people are having as well, is that we don't have any type of tiered category. So your categories are all the little tabs that we have at the top where we select. Normally you're going to have wins, questions, general. And this is how people could, when they create a post, they have to select one of these categories. Now, you would have thought it would be quite straightforward for us to be able to have at least one or two tiered categories. So we can have a degree of separation inside the feed. So the feed isn't just one long feed for everybody. Because the problem is, if the feed is just for everyone, there's no exclusive area. There's no space for people in premium or in VIP to be able to talk about the course or to share posts and get feedback, much like you would with doing lessons. If you're doing a high-ticket coaching program, people may want feedback. And therefore, the only way to get feedback now would be in the DMs. So suddenly you're losing any type of exclusive community benefit. There is no separate community. And some people would be like, oh, it's great for sharing, but you're going to get a lot of people that are just going to get free value out of other people's posts, or they're going to be commenting on stuff they have no idea about because it's not relevant to them, because it's something that's happening to a separate group. And there's also that people don't want other people that aren't doing the same thing as them necessarily looking at their stuff. Like I'm running a cohort at the moment, and the people in my cohort they're liking that it's very small, it's very private, so they're okay sharing things because everybody in that small cohort is doing the same stuff together. And you would lose that with the community part, and this is a community first platform. So therefore, all that we've really separated is the calls and the courses, and you could already do that with one-time payments inside the school area. I mean, you could sell a course inside for one time. So all we've done is essentially Tiers has become a subscription course. And so it's not really Tiers anymore. It's not, because there's only one front end. So for example, if I was going to be selling a paid subscription tier such as this one, that one subscription would give everybody access to everything. But tiers, each tier that comes after that is not handled in the same way. They can only really have access to the calls and the courses. And we can't separate anything else. So it's just tiered courses that we have at the moment. And that will be more than enough for some people. And I think this is where we can get into things and say, who is this for? I think this is very much for people that want a free and low ticket to mid ticket continuity program. So where they can sell, okay, now you can get access to the full course and you can get access to group calls and you just upgrade at any time you want. But everybody's in the pot for free. And I think that people doing that is really who they're looking for. So it's the people that just want to go free to low ticket, and then maybe they occasionally do a higher group coaching tier, and that's just something they do every now and again, and they can have the benefit of both. Their sort of low ticket continuity program, and then selling some type of high ticket program in the back end. But there's nothing really for us who are just doing high ticket. There's no way around it as far as I can see, other than having two communities still. So for high ticket people, there's just no way to actually ditch your second community to be able to keep that exclusive side and keep things locked. And the only way around it, as I said, would be to have your premium model in the middle, which is people can join at any time they want, and that's group coaching and also the main program. And then you sell high ticket as more of the one-on-one coaching and the exclusive level. But the issue with this is that you have to be ready to have that open all of the time. So you have to have it open all of the time, evergreen, which loses the scarcity inside. And the only way to drive scarcity then is to do promotions and bonuses and so on. So it's more difficult to convert without some type of promotion happening in between. The only other way around that, and I think this would be good for people that are doing beta launches, would be to just use the lessons in your classroom. Not the lessons, if you go in the classroom area, you can create a course, and the course can literally have nothing in it, but you just create it with an image. I normally say coaching or beta program, and then you charge whatever you're going to charge, $1,000, $1,500, whatever. Let's say if you're a high ticket one-time program, you create the offer, you do a promotion for it, and then when you speak to people on a call, you have it on draft, and then you turn it on while they're on the call so they can buy, and then you close it again because they don't need access to any of that. You can actually just turn that off anyways. So that would be an option for getting one-time payments. But honestly, I think it's kind of lacking, because the issue there as well is that then if you do calls inside, you're going to have to manually drop people in to calls and different programs and so on. So there's no seamless thing, as far as I can tell, for high ticket people to drive any form of urgency other than with price and bonuses. That's the only way you're going to do it. You can't run any type of cohorts unless you've got VIP, which requires premium, and there's no separation of the feed, which for me is the main thing that makes tiers actually proper tiers rather than just subscription courses. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, how you're going to use it. I'm sure things will evolve depending on when you watch this. Have you noticed any other problems? I have heard a few people mentioning issues with the pricing and the locked in grandfather pricing and stuff that they had to knock out because of implementing tiers itself. So there's different problems. Let me know in the comments below what you think, how you're going to use it, and if you think they will actually add, some type of category to separate things in future. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.